Hello friend, welcome back. I hope you are doing well. And today's video is not going to be in my normal style, as I'm mainly just going to be sitting here talking to the camera. In short, just to address the title and the thumbnail of this video, my XH2S is broken and I am in need of your guys' help. So feel free to watch this video and I would love for you guys to chime in with any thoughts, advice on this situation. So first, a little bit of context for you guys. I have been working on an updated XH2S rig video just to bring you guys into the updates that I've made to my handheld rig over the last year. And the biggest change to the rig has been the introduction of V-mount batteries. In the past, I've just used portable battery banks, but there was a company that was actually kind enough to send me one for free. And so I have been kind of diving into the world of V-mount. And so in the process of making this video, I was actually filming it and editing it last week. I went to actually pick up my camera and the screen was frozen. After trying a few different things, basically any time that I plugged the HDMI cable into the monitor, my camera would freeze. I just jumped right into trying to troubleshoot the issue. I tried a different monitor, different cable, a friend's XH2S, and ended up landing that the HDMI port on my XH2S was broken. And so anytime, I would plug in a HDMI cable to an external monitor, the screen would freeze. And the only way to get this to stop would be to pop the battery out of the camera to reset it. And so got on the phone with Fujifilm, kind of asked them what they thought. They recommended updating the firmware, which did not work. And then they also recommended factory resetting the camera, which also did not work. And so after that, they just kind of recommended that I send it in for repair. When they got the camera, they did confirm that it was the HDMI port that was fried. And so it is currently still with Fujifilm and I'm paying to get it fixed and then kind of awaiting it for it to get shipped back to me. Just so you know kind of how things were connected, I had the camera being powered via USB-C from the USB-C port, and I had the monitor being powered with the DTAP port with a DTAP 2 dummy battery that went into the back of my monitor. So in the process of waiting for this repair to be done, I started doing more research on V-mounts, HDMI ports, just kind of searching Google and YouTube to see what I could find. It actually turned up quite a few posts talking about the Blackmagic Pocket cameras, the 4K, the 6K, as well as cameras like the Red or an Arri Alexa with SDI ports. And so this seems to be somewhat of a documented issue where if you are powering a camera and a monitor off the same battery, specifically V-mounts, that you have to be really careful as you can burn out your HDMI port. So after seeing that, I realized, okay, this is probably what happened. But it's just interesting because in the process of building my rig and watching lots of rig videos over the years, I haven't really seen anyone talk about this, specifically larger YouTubers who regularly make rigs with V-mount batteries. There seems to be no kind of straightforward communication about best practices. There are these videos on the backside, after you've had the issue happen where, someone is explaining the best practice. But in short, I just kind of started doing some research and wanting to know more about kind of the best practices with V-mount batteries. From how I'm understanding the issue, this is a problem with both HDMI ports and SDI ports, and the risk doesn't change whether you're using USB cables, USB-A, USB-C, DTAP to dummy battery, or the 12 volt or 8 volt cables. It's just in general, anytime that you have, multiple things hooked up to your V-mount battery, regardless of the cable type, this is a risk. So I'm really making this video for two reasons. One is just to bring awareness to the issue and the potential risk involved with V-mount batteries, specifically with mirrorless cameras. There have been people that have talked about this, and I'm definitely not the first, but in the world of, mirrorless camera rig videos, I have not seen a particular YouTuber really address this and talk about the risks involved. So I just did not feel right publishing my rig video without first kind of bringing people into the issues that I faced when I was building my rig. And then the second reason is really just to get your guys' help. So I know that there are several people probably following me here on this channel that have more experience with V-mounts than me. And so before I finished my rig video, I just kind of wanted to ask my audience to chime in just down in the comments about best practices. I'm going to go on to talk about kind of what I've found through my research, but I would love just for you guys to share, how do you guys approach using V-mount batteries? Is this an issue you've seen before? I think I was surprised when I texted a few friends that have regularly used V-mount batteries with mirrorless cameras, and they had not actually heard of this issue ever happening. And so would love to just get advice down below. Feel free to watch the rest of this video, but then just chime in with your experience and how I should go about completing my rig with V-mount and what I should be thinking about. When researching this topic, it does seem there are kind of a wide variety of opinions of why this happens, why this would happen, why it wouldn't happen, and how to prevent it. and I didn't really see a clear consensus across the board, but I think one of the biggest tips that people talked about was just this idea of last in, first out, and that meaning your HDMI cable or your SDI cable is the last thing that you plug in after your camera and monitor is powered on, and then it is the first thing out before you power down your camera. And so apparently this will prevent the monitor from shorting out the HDMI port on the camera, and kind of seems, as a general rule of thumb, is just a great practice to get in the habit of using. Definitely leaves a few questions for me as why I've never had this problem with portable battery banks in the past, where I am powering both my camera and monitor using USB-C as well as USB-A at the same time. I think a lot of the research said that anytime you're drawing power from the same power source, that this is an issue. So I don't know if those are designed different, and in turn, these newer V-mount batteries that are being introduced with USB-C, USB-A ports, is that different? Just because it's V-mount, is this still a risk, or is it not as much of a risk because it's using USB ports? I'm not exactly sure, but I think that was a kind of point of confusion for me, why this hasn't been an issue with battery banks, but maybe with V-mounts that are designed in a similar way, that this still would be an issue. So just a question that I had. If you guys check out the description of this video, I'm going to link any resources that I found helpful. These aren't necessarily talking about the Fujifilm XH2S, but just kind of about the topic in general. There is a thread on Reddit that I found very helpful, and I think the top kind of post is from an electrical engineer, which I found helpful and gave me a little bit of peace of mind hearing his kind of understanding of the issue, as well as I'm going to link some YouTube videos that talk about this with SDI ports. But from what I understand, that it's a risk regardless, and would love to just do my part in helping you guys out so that you guys don't break your camera like me. It would be a huge help to me as well as other people if you left some comments down below, just kind of sharing your best practices and how you approach using V-mounts. Is this an issue that you've heard of before? How have you kind of mitigated risk? And also link to any resources that you have found, videos that I might have missed that, more clearly explain the issue at hand. And I will eventually get around to finishing my XH2S rig video, and I'm excited to share that with you guys probably in the next month or so. But until then, I hope that you found this helpful. I'm definitely going to be reading and responding to any comments down below. So I hope that something I said here was helpful, or that something that someone else shares is helpful, and that it would help you if you are in a similar situation to me trying to figure out what to do. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.